was good, but the execution was terrible, so we just never give ourselves a chance.
They said the first half was one of their best 40 minutes of the year, but did you have a bit to do with that?
Yeah. I mean, when we just, turning balls over on tackle one, and we hung in there and defended as probably good as anyone, can defend against them. But I mean, they get a try off a miracle ball inside, and Josh Hoffman dropping that kick, and we just give them 12-point start. And, we're just chasing our tail all night. There's nothing wrong with our effort or our character, and they played great, but you just can't do that in a playoff.
Obviously, you just couldn't afford that, could you? Did you have the feeling you needed to, come out of the blocks pretty quickly and go toe to toe with them early?
Oh, I thought we didn't. We had an effort in us tonight, defensively. We just some uncharacteristic errors, and like 12 points. Reed double movement. It's just a story tonight. 18 was going to be hard to run down. We got ourselves in a position to run it down a couple of times and then turned over again.
There were a few calls that you weren't overly impressed with?
Well, I've only been impressed with them for about 8 weeks, but anyway, referees didn't cost us a game tonight. They got in the way a bit, but they didn't cost us a game.
Seems a bit surreal, I suppose, with Petra's last game.
Yeah, it's all done and dusted for him now. It's a disappointing way to try and send him out, but a bit heartbreaking.
What can you take out of the season?
I don't know, we'll sit down over the next couple of weeks and dissect the whole year. There was a lot of good things that we did at the start of the year, and like any club, we struggled. We had our downs as well. But, we've got to try and figure out how we can cut out a lot of those down times and make sure there's more good times next year than bad times. But personally, I'm happy with the season and the way the boys really stood up and showed a lot of people that at the start of the year we talked down, and we had a young side. We lost Darren Lockyer. There's a lot of blokes in that team this year that really stood up, and I'm happy to play footy with them for many more years to come, because I'm sure they'll be the next Darren Lockyers and the next Petro Sivaseevas of the future.
What did you learn as a captain this season?
It's tough. Tough job. I learned a lot about myself, a lot of patience, a lot on how to deal with players, but hopefully I'll get better. It's 1 year down, and hopefully many more years to come.
Anthony, have you got any thoughts on the Cowboys and what might be in store for them in the weeks ahead?
Oh, yeah, they're a chance. Yeah, whoever won tonight, I thought was a good chance. Particularly, I think Manly are a bit busted now. They lost Lyon, and they lost both their captains by the look of it. Well, may do. I think someone else is in trouble too. Matt Eye. Yeah, I mean, if you win tonight, you cop the next team on the rebound. That Manly Canterbury game was always going to be a real dogfight, and whoever come out of the back of that was, going to have to face us or the Cowboys with a bit of momentum then. So, they're a good chance, the Cowboys.
Sam, a lot's been said about Petro's legacy, but what does playing alongside him mean to you?
Like I said out there on the field at the end of the game, Petro was someone I really admired and looked up to when I first come to the club. I grew up here in Townsville and moved down there, and he was someone that took me under his wing, and I learned a lot from him. He's a tough old player. He's still been playing the top of footy. He's at 36, I think he is now. I don't know his real Fijian age, which is older than that, but he's done a lot, not just for the Broncos and Penrith Panthers, but the game of rugby league, and he'll leave a gap in our team. But I'm really happy and impressed with the blokes that are coming through. Josh Maguire, Dynamis Louis, Dave Huller when he gets back on the field. I'm sure they'll be willing to put their hand up in the off season and the start of next year to fill that gap that Petro's left, but he will be missed.
Aside from Petro, you also farewell Bill and Tia.
Yeah, they've been a big part of our club for the last few years. Beal was one of our juniors that came up through the ranks, and I'm sure that they'll both go to their new clubs and take a lot from the Broncos, and I'm sure that they'll teach a few players at other clubs what they learn at the Broncos, because they've learned a lot and they've given a lot to the Broncos, and we'll miss them as well.
Well, how do you reflect on the season? Do you think you had the roster to go further, particularly on your second mid-season, so you're building some good momentum?
Yeah, I thought, coming into that, we were on the, I suppose, the receiving end of a couple of injuries, which everyone is, but, coming into that third origin, we just got to learn from that. We were sitting third or fourth, I think we were in the top four, and we beat the Warriors, and we dropped our guard for a couple of weeks, and that was enough to get us into trouble. So that's the biggest lesson we've got to learn out of the season is it's a consistency, and that it's a 24-week season. It is what it is. The other thing is, tonight in the final, we probably learn a lot of hard lessons tonight, which we'll carry through and start building on in the off season.
That's cool.